That's also his Blue Sky handle, pocan.house.gov. Congressman, welcome back to the program. I'm wondering what's on the top of your mind today. Congress is out, right? They cut and ran.
Is going to go down in history books for being the most pathetic Congress that I can remember in my adult lifetime of following Congress. The Republicans are in the majority and they can't even get bills on the calendar because they can't perform even the most basic functions. They got the big ugly law now done because that was Trump, forcing them to get that done. But now Jeffrey Epstein, just the idea of releasing the Epstein files has got them so tied up that they had enough members on the Rules Committee refuse to schedule any meaningful bills. So all we did were, suspension bills, which are going to pass, often, with like the exception of 5 or 10 people in Congress. And they sent us home because they can't even govern while they're in the majority. So, I guess maybe that's good at some level, although we do have a date coming up where if we don't have a budget done by September 30th, we do have the potential of shutting down the government. But it's just at its rock bottom of performance without question right now.
What's the significance of the federal police subcommittee, correct me if I've got the name wrong, of the Rules Committee, I believe it was, or the Oversight Committee, rather, voting not unanimously, it was 8-2, voting 8-2 to demand that the Epstein documents in the possession of the FBI be given to, on a confidential basis, I understand, to members of Congress for their evaluation. Do I have that right? And what does that mean?
Yeah, so I was at appropriation markups most of the week. We're still finishing that process. But what it means is at least there's a few Republicans admitting that we need to release the Epstein files, regardless of Donald Trump saying there's nothing to look at here, after saying everything is about the Epstein files prior to that, right? So we know, again, the smell test, it doesn't pass the smell test right now, what Donald Trump is saying. And there's many people in the MAGA movement who've been promised there's so much information about the elites in here that they want it released. And now suddenly they're told to look the other way. So it did say that some Republicans, and we could tell by every other function, the fact that they had to send us home early, the same thing.
Hey, if you snore now, you're at a heightened risk of requiring a CPAP machine later. So now is the time to stop snoring. And one of the fastest, smartest, easiest ways to stop snoring is Zyppah. Zyppah is the comfortable, doctor-designed mouthpiece that can stop snoring as fast as the first night. Don't be fooled by imitators. Zyppah was proven in a 600-patient clinical trial. And with over 500,000 units sold, Zyppah is the stop snoring device that I trust. No more being nudged awake for snoring. No more sleeping in separate rooms. No more feeling tired and foggy all day due to lack of sleep. Look, this may be your last best chance to solve your snoring problem now or face having to wear a CPAP mask later. Zyppah, that's Happy Z spelled backwards. I want you to try it with my special discount. Get 20% off and free shipping. Visit zyppah.com and use the promo code SNORE. Again, that's promo code SNORE at zyppah.com.
Whether or not it's going to immediately happen, it won't, very likely. I mean, it's a positive sign, but it's not what we need. What we need is to have Congress, to make this full push. And Mike Johnson not to, just be carrying the water of the president rather than, what people really want. But if we can't even function because they're afraid to vote on an amendment that asks, Congressional, Congress-wide to vote to release the files, that's so risky either to their relationship with Donald Trump or their relationship to the base that we can't do anything. It just shows the unbelievably pathetic position we're in right now as a Congress.
What do you think about the theory that this is the beginning of the end of the Trump presidency? Or do you think that, their strategy of shutting down Congress for August? I've been doing this show for 23 years. I can tell you from experience that during the month of August, we just throw it open. Typically, we call it anything goes summer, so people can call on any topic, because our call volume drops substantially in August. And that's because listenership is down. And by the way, every news network sees this. People just disengage. They're going on vacation, frankly. Right. So is it possible that the Epstein thing will have gone away in September?
Well, and that's the worry, right? I mean, what else are they going to do? Right now, they're releasing things that aren't the files, trying to act like it's something real. There's the possibility of a pardon, which would be potentially highly political motivated, and that would be something we've got to watch. My biggest fear, honestly, Tom, is, we lost the election because of global inflation and the economy, because 12 different countries that were like us, whoever was in charge got thrown out, and that's what happened. 50% of the people in exit polls said they voted the economy. The number one reason Donald Trump's not doing well in the polls is because of the economy. He's done nothing to lower the cost like he's promised. People vote their pocketbooks, and the bill they just passed is going to hurt them. They're going to pay more in energy costs. They're going to pay more for healthcare costs. People are going to lose healthcare and education funding. There's many bad things about this bill. And whenever we're not talking about it, because it's unbalanced by 15 to 20 points by any poll that you see on it, those are the things that people vote on, I think, the strongest. So this is an issue that's very important to the MAGA base. But I can tell you by the calls I got this week to my office that weren't organized campaign calls were relatively limited. But I think among the MAGA base, this is very, very significant. So is it a tool in the tool shed of trying to expose Donald Trump? Yes. Is it how we necessarily win the 2026 election going forward? I really do think it's people's pocketbook issues. It's what they talk about at the kitchen table. And I hope that this doesn't distract us from over the next 5 weeks. I'm going next week back to the 3rd Congressional District, to Derek Van Orden's district, to do a town hall.
Hey, good on you.
In the town he lives in. In the town he lives in, because he hasn't shown up. I'm making it as easy as possible because people need to know how much their pocket has been picked to give Donald Trump and Elon Musk and others a tax break, and what they're going to lose along the way for it. And for me, I'm an economic populist, progressive. I want to make sure we're getting it across, because I think that's how people really what they care about the most. And I hope we don't lose focus.